This series begins in the Warring States period in China. At that time, a big war is happening in the Han Kingdom, the strongest of the 7 states. They want to control the Li Kingdom. King Hung, Yuan Wu, leads his troops in the war. When his troops start to struggle, Yuan Wu's good friend Liang Jingming, leader of the Ba Mountain sect, and his lover, Zheng Xiu, come to help. They win the war for Hong. To celebrate, Yuan Wu throws a party and invites Jingming and Zheng Xiu. During the party, Zheng Xiu kisses Jingming for the last time because she decides to be with Yuan Wu. Jingming then realizes that Zheng Xiu has poisoned him and betrayed him. Then, Yuan Wu orders his soldiers to kill Jingming. Even though he is poisoned, Jingming fights back against the Han soldiers. He runs out of the room and uses his strongest technique, the 9-death silkworm, to fight the soldiers. Jingming uses all his strength and slowly disappears instead of dying from Zheng Xiu's poison. 10 years later, a kung fu master named Zhao Zhan from the Sword Furnace sect, which is part of the Li Kingdom, was seen in the Han region to get revenge on Yuan Wu. Not long ago, Yi Sulong, who used to be in the Ba Mountain sect and is now the chief of the Bureau of Heavenly Supervision in the kingdom, found out where Zhao Zhan was. When Zhao Zhan found out that Sulong was from the Han Kingdom and was going to kill him, he drew his sword and fought with Sulong. Sadly, Zhao Zhan couldn't match Sulong's martial arts skills and had to die when Sulong plunged her sword into his chest. After seeing Zhao Zhan dead, Sulong ordered her men to bury his body. At the Han Kingdom Palace, Zheng Xiu is now the royal empress who can easily control her kingdom. She orders her soldiers to hunt down all remaining Ba Mountain sect troops because they are considered a problem for her. In the market area, a young man named Ding Ning passed Sulong, who was walking with her subordinates. There, Ding Ning watched Sulong, as if he knew she had just defeated Zhao Zhan. When Ding Ning got home, he told Zhang Sun Qian Shui, who he considers his aunt after she adopted him. Ding Ning also told Qian Shui about Sulong defeating Zhao Zhan. Qian Shui felt sad because people who had the same goal as her to fight against the kingdom were starting to fall. To fight against the ruling Han Kingdom, Ding Ning and Qian Shui practiced their special skills even while sleeping. Ding Ning has fire power and Qian Shui has ice power. Sometimes, their powers would collide, causing Qian Shui to pass out. When this happened, Ding Ning would hug Qian Shui to use his fire power to warm her and wake her up. When Qian Shui realized Ding Ning was hugging her, she got angry and warned him not to do it again. Ding Ning promised he wouldn't, and then asked why Qian Shui hated the Han Kingdom so much. Qian Shui said she wanted to kill King Hung herself. The next morning, Ding Ning and Qian Shui painted many lotus flowers on the walls of their wine shop. These flowers represented the people they wanted to target in their revenge plan against the Han Kingdom. The bigger the flower, the more important the person. Then, one big lotus was crossed out, showing they had already killed a royal official. They made this complicated plan with lotus paintings so the royal party wouldn't easily find out what they were up to. At Sulong's place, the Han royal guard hurried to a morgue where a royal guard named Morong Chong was found dead with cuts on his face. Sulong realized that Zhao Zhan wasn't the one who killed him, but someone else who was still free in the kingdom. This made Sulong very worried because they hadn't found the real killer and more royal people were dying. Sulong told his men to keep watching and investigate thoroughly to find out who the real killer was. That evening, a member of the Sword Furnace sect named Zhao Si went to a tribute room for all the fallen sect members, including Zhao Zhan. After paying respects, Zhao Si saw Sulong come into the room. Zhao Si got angry and took out her sword to fight Sulong, who had killed Zhao Zhan. At that time, Zhao Si's powerful sword skills almost defeated Sulong, but then Sulong's mentor, Chen Xian, came to save her. After Chen Xian took Sulong to a safe place, he reminded her to always be careful. But Sulong didn't want to listen and told him not to interfere in her business. The next day, Prince Li Lingjun, an exiled prince from Xian who lived in Han Kingdom, came to Ding Ning's wine shop. As Ding Ning had planned, when Ling Jun was enjoying his wine, he was fascinated by the beauty of Qian Shui who was in the shop. One day, Ding Ning went into Qian Shui's room to tell her about his planned success, but he accidentally saw her taking a shower. Qian Shui was surprised and quickly put on her clothes, then scolded Ding Ning for entering her room without knocking. Ding Ning told his aunt about making Ling Jun fall in love with Qian Shui, which they could use to infiltrate the kingdom. Qian Shui pinched Ding Ning's ear because he made plans without telling her first. Another day, Ling Jun returned to Ding Ning's wine shop with a horse-drawn carriage to propose and take Qian Shui to the kingdom. When Ling Jun's group arrived, Ding Ning deliberately rejected the prince's proposal because he didn't want Ling Jun to make Qian Shui miss tests. Ling Jun decided to leave the wine shop. That evening, Su Long and her assistant, Bai Gongfeng, visited Ding Ning's wine shop, suspecting it was the hiding place of the mysterious royal member's murderer. Shortly after, Su Long attacked Qian Shui, who opened the door and realized Qian Shui had no cultivation strength, so she stopped the attack. Even though she was still suspicious, Su Long examined the strange lotus painting on the back wall of the wine shop. Qian Shui explained that her nephew made the painting, which made Su Long's suspicions unproven, and she chose to leave the wine shop. After Gongfeng left, Su Long continued her journey home. She was stopped by a nobleman named Fang Xiang, who was angry with her because she couldn't find Mo Rongcheng's killer. Fang Xiang had loyal followers watching the kingdom. Without wasting time, they both took out their swords and started fighting. They were both very strong and were able to hurt each other. Seeing that the fight was even, Fang Xiang decided to leave in his carriage. Su Long, however, was more seriously injured and had to go home in pain. Meanwhile, Ding Ning, who had just found out that Su Long had come, asked Qian Shui what the royal supervisor was doing. Qian Shui explained how she successfully hid her cultivation strength so that Su Long and her assistant didn't suspect her of being the murderer. When Su Long got home, Chen Xian saw that she was injured from the fight with Fang Xiang. He reminded her not to get involved with the powerful Fang family. Shortly after, Chen Xian gave her medicine for her internal injuries before leaving. The next morning, Qian Shui and Ding Ning talked again about their plans for revenge against the Han Kingdom. It was revealed that Qian Shui was the only trusted student of Jing Ming and wanted to avenge her mentor's death, who was betrayed by Yuan Wu and Zheng Xiu. Ding Ning secretly planned to help Qian Shui with her revenge. A little while later, a middle-aged man named Wang Tai-su, the leader of Two-Story Tower, came to see Ding Ning at the wine shop. Ding Ning was happy because his plan to lure Tai-su to him had worked. Tai-su immediately asked Ding Ning for help in protecting him since Ding Ning had strong cultivation power. There, Tai-su explained that this great power could make Ding Ning not live past 30 years old. But Tai-su said he could help Ding Ning manage this power so he could live longer. Ding Ning was interested and asked him to talk about this outside the wine shop so Qian Shui wouldn't find out. Meanwhile, at the riverbank, Tai-su invited Ding Ning to come with him to a banquet between regional rulers, which might cause many conflict. Ding Ning agreed to his request. At the meeting, as Tai-su predicted, the Li region refused to listen to him. Leader Li and his troops took out their swords to attack, but an old warrior named Li Daoji, the second master of White Goat Cave, stopped the attack and sided with Tai-su. Meanwhile, Ding Ning wasn't scared at all. He even fell asleep during the fight. When the fight was over, Tai-su and Daoji noticed this, and Daoji became interested in Ding Ning. He then asked Tai-su to recruit Ding Ning as a new member of the White Goat Cave sect. After Ding Ning went home, he told Qian Shui about the recruitment. Qian Shui was shocked by Ding Ning's decision to join the White Goat Cave sect because he could lose his life if he couldn't fully master all the teachings. Ding Ning tried to calm Qian Shui by saying he wouldn't die that easily. In the past, Qian Shui met Ding Ning, who had just emerged from a silkworm cocoon after inheriting Jing Ming's 9-death silkworm cultivation technique. Since then, Qian Shui appointed Ding Ning as her nephew because he was the only successor to her mentor Jing Ming's rare knowledge. In the present, when Ding Ning arrived at the gate of the White Goat Cave sect, the seniors looked down on him as a new member. Luckily, Nangong Chaishu, a member of the Green Vine Sword sect who studied at the same place, appeared with her friends and stopped the seniors from bothering Ding Ning. The seniors didn't dare to fight Chaishu, who was the daughter of Nangong Po Chung, a former royal military officer. After that, Ding Ning had to take several tests before being officially accepted as a new disciple of the White Goat Cave sect. With his abilities, Ding Ning completed every test, like picking up small balls in the water and finding pulse points on a statue. At that time, he finished all the tests in the shortest time ever by a White Goat Cave sect disciple. There, Daoji and the cave master Shui Wang Su, who were watching, were amazed by Ding Ning's ability. Daoji even welcomed Ding Ning personally, which made all the other students jealous because Daoji rarely did this. Not long after, the students from White Goat Cave and Green Vine Sword, including Ding Ning, entered the study room. Ding Ning was worried about Qian Shui and asked Daoji if he could go home every day to visit his aunt. Daoji said he would think about Ding Ning's request and then told him to study the books in the study room. Without hesitation, Ding Ning chose 2 high-level books that were usually only for senior students. Chai Shu saw this and warned him to pick an easier book, but Ding Ning insisted on studying the difficult ones. Ding Ning then sat at his desk and began reading. After half a day of studying the complicated moves in the book, he surprised everyone by mastering the kung fu moves perfectly. Other students would have needed much longer to learn what he had mastered. Seeing his success, Chai Shu asked Ding Ning to help her choose a suitable book. Ding Ning picked a scroll for her, which she immediately started to study. Meanwhile, Dao Ji, who heard about Ding Ning's success, called him to show a special place where he practiced his cultivation abilities. However, Ding Ning didn't seem very interested in the training ground because he kept worrying about his aunt. He asked again to go home. Even though Dao Ji was annoyed by Ding Ning's attitude, he finally allowed Ding Ning to go home anytime because he didn't want to lose the student with the best potential. Meanwhile, Chai Shu was still studying the book Ding Ning had chosen for her. She was very happy when she finally mastered it and couldn't believe that the book was perfect for her abilities. When Ding Ning arrived home, Qian Shui was surprised to see him so soon because kung fu students usually weren't allowed to go home before reaching a certain level. Then, Ding Ning explained that his kung fu master had given him permission to come home anytime to look after Qian Shui. The next day, Ding Ning returned to the White Goat Cave sect to train with Dao Ji. There, he showed several moves he had mastered, making Dao Ji happy with his progress. Dao Ji was so pleased that he allowed Ding Ning to go home that night using his horse-drawn carriage. When night came, Ding Ning went home in the carriage, accompanied by Dao Ji's bodyguard. However, the carriage had problems in the middle of the journey, so Ding Ning decided to walk the rest of the way since his house was not far. As Ding Ning walked, he was suddenly confronted by top-level assassins. At the same time, Qian Shui was attacked by a woman named by Shan Shui, who had stronger cultivation skills than Qian Shui. Meanwhile, Tai Su, who was at his home, was also attacked by a mysterious man. At the wine shop, Qian Shui had to use only her physical strength to fight Shan Shui so that Shan Shui wouldn't know her true cultivation power. Meanwhile, on the street, Ding Ning was in trouble because he was surrounded by assassins. He didn't use his cultivation power on purpose. Luckily, Dao Ji's bodyguard came to help and defeated the assassins. The bodyguard told Ding Ning that the horse-drawn carriage they were using seemed to have been damaged on purpose, showing that the attack was planned by someone. Tai Su also managed to escape from the warrior who attacked him, Duan Jiqiu. Soon after, Jiqiu went to General Liang Lian to report that the attack had failed. It turned out that Liang Lian was the one behind all the attacks on Ding Ning and others. He wanted to get a noble title. Because the attack failed, Liang Lian ordered the assassin to complete the task in the next 3 days. Back at the wine shop, Qian Shui treated Ding Ning's wounds from the fight with the assassins. She also told him about Shan Shui attacking, and then escaping after Qian Shui said she was on the same side as Shan Shui. Although Shan Shui was doubtful, she decided to let Qian Shui go that night. The next day, Tai Su, who knew about the attack on Ding Ning and Qian Shui, picked up Ding Ning to go to the White Goat Cave sect. On the way, their horse-drawn carriage was stopped by Jiqiu's troops. When Ding Ning was about to get down to face Jiqiu, Tai Su reminded him that Jiqiu's cultivation ability was at level 5. Despite this, Ding Ning insisted on facing Jiqiu's troops. Suddenly, Wang Su came to help him. At that time, Jiqiu underestimated Wang Su's strength and ordered his troops to attack the old man. With his level 7 cultivation strength, Wang Su controlled the wind to throw Jiqiu and his troops away. Wang Su's power even turned the clouds above him, which many people could feel, including Su Long on the street and Zheng Xiu in the kingdom. With Wang Su's help, Ding Ning and Tai Su continued their journey. Meanwhile, Zheng Xiu, who knew that Wang Su had come down the mountain, called Liang Lian. There, she scolded him for recklessly disturbing the White Goat Cave sect and the 2-story tower, which were important to the Han Kingdom. Shortly after, Zheng Xiu warned Liang Lian not to make the same mistake again if he didn't want to be punished. After this, Liang Lian found out that Wang Su was protecting Ding Ning, the favorite student of the White Goat Cave sect master. Curious about Ding Ning, Liang Lian went to the wine shop where Su Long attacked him. She suspected Liang Lian of being the mastermind behind the murder of several royal members. Then, a fight broke out between them until Chen Xian intervened to separate Su Long and Liang Lian. In the Han Kingdom, Yuan Wu chose to go into seclusion and train for years to raise his cultivation ability to level 8, which is almost perfect for warriors. One day, Liang Lian, who kept hearing about the deaths of royal members, finally found out that Shan Shui was the murderer. At that time, Liang Lian tried to catch Shan Shui's right-hand man, Fan Zhua, in a shop to lure Shan Shui. Unfortunately, Fan Zhua's martial arts skills and help from Shan Shui made it so Liang Lian's troops failed to arrest them. Shan Shui and Fan Zhua escaped easily using a boat on the river. When they saw Su Long and Qin Xian on the riverbank, who couldn't catch them, Shan Shui laughed at them. Sometime later, royal members welcomed Yuan Wu back to his throne after he reached a high cultivation level. And Su Long, who also attended the event, was shocked to hear that Yuan Wu had reached level 8. There, Su Long reported Liang Lian's failure to catch the murderer of a royal member. So Yuan Wu ordered his soldiers to punish the general with 80 blows. Soon after, Qian Shui heard about Liang Lian being punished and decided to disguise herself as Shan Shui. At that time, she planned to kill Liang Lian in his exile after he completed his sentence. In the middle of the forest, Qian Shui watched Liang Lian, who was being taken to the forest for exile after receiving 80 strokes as punishment. When the soldiers left, Qian Shui came down from the tree and attacked Liang Lian. Even though he was injured, Liang Lian could still fight back and corner Qian Shui. Just before he could reveal Qian Shui's identity, Shan Shui arrived to help Qian Shui escape. Back at the wine shop, Shan Shui questioned Qian Shui about her complicated plans and the person who inherited Jing Ming's 9 Death Silkworm cultivation ability. Even though Shan Shui had proven to be on her side, Qian Shui kept Ding Ning's true identity a secret to protect their plans. At the White Goat Cave sect, Xie Changsheng and his older sister, Xie Ruo, who came from a wealthy family, visited the academy after hearing about a new student who reached the basic cultivation level in just half a day. Soon after, Xie Ruo talked to the White Goat Cave sect students, but still couldn't believe Ding Ning's achievements. She even bet with Chai Shu that Ding Ning wouldn't be able to become a Qi master within a month. Xie Ruo said she would marry Ding Ning if she lost the bet. And Chang Sheng, who heard the bet, was excited and hoped his sister would marry Ding Ning, who was rumored to be the strongest student in the academy. Meanwhile, Ding Ning was practicing in Dao Ji's special training room and quickly reached level 2. After being called to take the exam from the masters, Ding Ning finished his training and joined the other students. And Chang Sheng, who saw Ding Ning, was happy and immediately approached him, hoping Ding Ning could become his older brother-in-law. Soon, all the students went to meet the masters who would give the exam. In this exam, the winner had to collect plaques hidden in different places, and the student with the most plaques would win a special jade with rare powers. There, Chang Sheng encouraged Ding Ning and hoped he would win. After listening to the master's instructions, all the White Goat Cave sect and Green Vine Sword students walked to the forest where the exam would take place. The exam started with a tree root attack, which Ding Ning easily handled, even though other higher-level students struggled. Ding Ning continued until he met a level 3 senior who had a plaque. Because all the students were competing for the most plaques, Ding Ning had to fight his senior. During the fight, tree roots attacked them both, almost choking the senior to death. Ding Ning quickly cut the roots, saving his senior. Grateful, the senior gave his plaque to Ding Ning, making him happy. Meanwhile, Chai Shu had to face a senior with a higher cultivation level. Since Chai Shu's strength was lower, she was defeated. Luckily, Ding Ning came to help her. Using the skills from the 2 books he had studied, Ding Ning fought the senior. With various moves from the books, Ding Ning managed to defeat the senior, even though he was only at the elementary level in sword techniques. The next day, the exam continued with 4 students who passed the first stage. They are Ding Ning, Chai Shu, Chao Shi, and Sun Xing. In the next exam, Ding Ning had to face Sun Xing, a senior who never liked Ding Ning. Sun Xing used all his strength, including a deadly forbidden move, but Ding Ning broke it. Annoyed with Sun Xing, Ding Ning counterattacked, injuring Sun Xing's arm. Meanwhile, Chao Shi, who was fighting Chai Shu, asked her to stop because smoke signaled that the winner had been decided. And Ding Ning, who had defeated Sun Xing, came to Chai Shu to tell her about his victory. Chai Shu was happy to see Ding Ning win the fight. Afterward, Ding Ning and the others showed the masters the plaques they had collected. There, Ding Ning showed up as the winner and received the special jade as promised by the masters. In the evening, at the wine shop, Zhang Xiu visited to enjoy a drink. At that time, Qian Shui didn't recognize Zhang Xiu and thought she was an ordinary noblewoman. Zhang Xiu also didn't know that Qian Shui was secretly planning revenge against the Han Kingdom. While Qian Shui was serving Zhang Xiu, Ding Ning arrived in front of the wine shop and suddenly fainted due to the excess strength within him. Qian Shui panicked and took Ding Ning inside to rest. At that moment, Zhang Shou, noticing Ding Ning's superior strength, was surprised why Ding Ning was pushing himself so hard to become a warrior. A few moments later, Ding Ning felt better and gave the special jade he had won to Qian Shui, who wanted to make her sword stronger. Qian Shui was touched by Ding Ning's sacrifices to help her plan her revenge. Ding Ning told Qian Shui that she didn't have to do this alone because he would always help her. His words made Qian Shui remember her mentor, Jing Ming. Soon after, Qian Shui asked Ding Ning not to disturb her that night because she planned to use the jade to make her Yamaraja Geo sword more powerful. In the kingdom, Yuan Wu was sleeping, still haunted by the betrayal he committed against Jing Ming in the past. His guilt made him dream about his old friend. And Zhang Xiu, knowing Yuan Wu was troubled by his past, tried to calm him and asked him to forget about Jing Ming, especially now that Yuan Wu had everything, including high-level cultivation strength. The next day, Ding Ning went to buy breakfast at a shop where Wang Su was waiting for him. The cave master wanted to take his student to Tushan district to look for Dingyan pearls, which could help with Ding Ning's excess power. After finishing breakfast, they traveled in a horse-drawn carriage. Along the way, Ding Ning doubted if there was anything that could heal him. Wang Su tried to convince Ding Ning that the pearl would at least reduce the side effects of his power and ensure he wouldn't die before the Mingshan Sword Festival. At the Hung Palace, Crown Prince Yuan Jichu, the son of Yuan Wu and Jing Xiu, was talking to his mother. Unlike his parents, who used dirty methods to get what they wanted, Jichu was known as a kind-hearted young man who always followed the kingdom's rules. Returning to Wang Su and Ding Ning, who had arrived at Tushan district in the Ba region, they were not welcomed by Feng Qinghan, the grandson of the Ba region leader, Feng Qianzhua. At that moment, Qinghan even tried to expel Wang Su and Ding Ning, who wanted to meet Qianzhua. Wang Su explained that Qianzhua was a former member of the Ba Mountain sect who had betrayed the school and was hiding in the area after stealing Wang Su's Dingyan pearl. Later, Wang Su and Ding Ning tried to meet Qianzhua during an event in the city. Soon after, Wang Su asked Qianzhua to return his pearl, but he refused, and Qinghan, who was also there, challenged Wang Su to a fight for disturbing the Feng family event. Shortly after, Ding Ning offered to fight Qinghan, who had higher cultivation strength. Despite this, Ding Ning managed to defeat Qinghan. Upset over his grandson's death, Qianzhua tried to attack Ding Ning, but Wang Su blocked him and took Ding Ning away from the Ba region. That evening, while Wang Su and Ding Ning were on their way home, their carriage was stopped by soldiers from the Han Kingdom who wanted to question Ding Ning about Qinghan's death. At the royal supervisor's place, Ding Ning explained what happened. Meanwhile, Wang Su met Zhang Xiu and begged the government to release Ding Ning, who was only trying to protect him. On the other hand, news about Ding Ning being captured by the kingdom finally reached Qian Shui. She planned to distract the kingdom by using her stone-sharpening skill to hunt a target. Looking at the lotus painting on the wine shop wall, Qian Shui chose one of the lotuses to go after. Without wasting any time, Qian Shui intercepted her target, who was walking alone in the forest. She targeted him because he was a former member of the Ba Mountain Sword Sect who had betrayed them by working for the kingdom. They fought fiercely, but Qian Shui won by using a rare move she had learned from her mentor, Jing Ming. Not long afterward, news of the royal member's death reached Yuan Wu. This worried the king because now they had to find both the owner of the stone-sharpening skill and the heir to the 9 Death Silkworm skill, which had never been found. Meanwhile, Wang Su was still trying to persuade Zhang Xiu to release Ding Ning. At that time, Zhang Xiu finally agreed to release Ding Ning on one condition. Without hesitation, Wang Su accepted the queen's condition, and Ding Ning was freed from the royal supervisor's residence. Soon after, Ding Ning rushed home, where Qian Shui scolded him for recklessly killing the grandson of a high-ranking official of the Ba region. At that moment, Qian Shui was so angry. Then, he slapped Ding Ning and reminded him not to make mistakes that could fail their revenge plans against the kingdom. Ding Ning agreed to all his aunt's warnings and went to his room, holding his cheek where Qian Shui had slapped him. That night, Su Long went to the royal prison to free a prisoner named Lin Zhujia, who was from the same school as her. However, Chen Xian stopped Su Long, warning that this could endanger her life. Chen Xian reminded her that the Ba Mountain Sword Sect had disbanded after Jing Ming's death, so Su Long couldn't do anything to save her friend in prison. This made Su Long feel annoyed and remember how Jing Ming had died due to Zhang Xiu and Yuan Wu's betrayal. The next day, Wang Su and Ding Ning went to a battle location to fulfill Zhang Xiu's requirement that Wang Su fight Liang Lian to free Ding Ning. Zhang Xiu wanted to see if Liang Lian was worthy of being a royal general. Under Zhang Xiu's supervision, the fight between Wang Su and Liang Lian began, but Zhang Xiu was disappointed to see that Liang Lian couldn't defeat Wang Su. After winning, Wang Su quickly took Ding Ning and left the scene. Zhang Xiu warned Liang Lian to improve his martial arts skills if he didn't want to lose his position as royal general. Meanwhile, Qian Shui was practicing her sword skills, but because she couldn't control her strength, she ended up unconscious. In the forest, Wang Su was resting after fighting with Liang Lian. Seeing his master's sacrifice, Ding Ning promised Wang Su that he wouldn't disappoint him in the future. Back in the kingdom, Zhang Xiu and Yuan Wu talked about Zhu Jia, who they had locked up for 10 years in an underground prison after Jing Ming's death. The king and queen did this to find out the whereabouts of Jing Ming's heirloom sword, considered the strongest sword of its time. Unfortunately, the sword disappeared right after Jing Ming's death, and Zhu Jia, a good friend of Jing Ming, refused to reveal the sword's location, even though Zhang Xiu kept torturing and imprisoning him for years. One day, Chang Shang came to the wine shop on his father's orders to pick up Ding Ning for a marriage to Xia Ruo. But there, Ding Ning, who did not want to marry Xia Ruo, refused Chang Shang's request and sent him away. At that moment, Ding Ning saw that Qian Shui was upset by the news of his marriage, so he explained to her that the news of his marriage to Xia Ruo was just a joke spread at the White Goat Cave sect. Later, Ding Ning returned to his college to practice his cultivation skills at Dao Ji's special training ground. There, Ding Ning quickly reached level 3, making Wang Su and Dao Ji proud of their best student. At his residence, Liang Lian heard that Ding Ning had improved his abilities. Feeling threatened by the young man, Liang Lian ordered his right-hand man to hire a top-class assassin to eliminate Ding Ning. At the same time, Ding Ning's name became more popular in the kingdom because he reached level 3 so quickly. This caught the interest of Shang, the owner of the most influential fish market in the area. She came to the wine shop with her assistant, Sun Bing, to meet Ding Ning. There, Qian Shui welcomed them but tried to protect Ding Ning from getting too involved with many people. After they left, Qian Shui reminded Ding Ning to always be careful because his popularity could make many people target him. In the palace, Zi Chu, who had raised his cultivation to level 4, demonstrated his sword skills in front of Yuan Wu, Zheng Xiu, and the kingdom's higher-ups. After the performance, a servant expressed dislike for Zi Chu and compared him to Liang Lian. This made Yuan Wu angry, and he killed the servant with just a drop of ink. And Chang Shang, even though he was rejected by Ding Ning, returned to meet him and gave a box of herbal grass, asking Ding Ning to take him as his student. Hearing that, Ding Ning refused because he was still a disciple of the White Goat Cave sect. Soon after, Chang Shang saw Wang Su and Dao Ji at the wine shop. He greeted the masters happily, even though he was a student of the Green Vine Sword sect. There, Wang Su returned Chang Shang's greeting because he considered all Green Vine Sword sect students as his own since they trained in the same place as the White Goat Cave sect student. A few moments later, Chang Shang accompanied Ding Ning to visit Ding Ning's grandmother at the fish market. On the way, Ding Ning realized someone had been following him since he left the wine shop. Even so, he stayed calm and continued his journey with Chang Shang. When they arrived at a bridge, Ding Ning told Chang Shang about the people stalking him. Then, Chang Shang started to panic, but Ding Ning asked him to stay calm and look for help around the fish market. Meanwhile, Ding Ning planned to face the stalkers while waiting for Chang Shang to bring help. Without thinking, Chang Shang rushed to a sword shop for help. Unexpectedly, the shop was guarded by Sun Bing, who had accompanied Shang to meet Ding Ning at the wine shop. When Sun Bing heard that Ding Ning was in danger, he prepared to help. Ding Ning was now facing 2 assassins. With Sun Bing's help, they overpowered and arrested the 2 hitmen. Meanwhile, Shang, Shan Shui, and Zhao Si secretly held a meeting at the river. They had heard that Jing Ming's successor, who had the 9 Death Silk Worm cultivation technique, had appeared. They agreed to work together to destroy the Han Kingdom, even though they came from different backgrounds. Their plan was to start eliminating royal members one by one. Ding Ning then took the 2 hitmen to the royal supervisor so the stalking case could be investigated. And Su Long and Chen Xian, who had heard about the attack on Ding Ning, began to question who was behind it. When Ding Ning and Chang Shang returned to the wine shop, Chai Shu was waiting for Ding Ning to give him a book to study for the Mingshan Sword Festival. While they were talking, Qian Shui came down to give them drinks. And Chang Shang, seeing Ding Ning's aunt for the first time, was amazed by her beauty. Without thinking, Chang Shang approached Qian Shui to get to know her, but Ding Ning tried to stop him. Later, Qian Shui investigated the attack on Ding Ning and discovered that Shan Shui was involved. Qian Shui then went to warn Shan Shui not to harm Ding Ning and his friends if she didn't want to face Qian Shui. Meanwhile, Ding Ning and his group traveled back to the White Goat Cave sect to watch the duels between the schools. His presence caught the attention of Shan Shang, who challenged Ding Ning to a duel with a bet that the loser had to show a painting of his school's ancestors. Although Ding Ning was not interested in the battle, the masters wanted to see his improved abilities, so he accepted the challenge. At that time, Shan Shang was at level 4, one level higher than Ding Ning. Many people thought Ding Ning would lose, but he managed to show that he could defeat Shan Shang even though he was still at level 3. After Ding Ning's victory, his group was taken to the Zhou family's residence, where the freehand painting remnant scroll was kept. This scroll was believed to unlock various sword and cultivation skills. Arriving at the location, Ding Ning easily entered the painting and understood its contents. He wondered why the large painting was torn at the end. Ding Ning then helped Chang Shang into the painting, leaving Chang Shang amazed by its beauty. There, Zhou Rongmo, the owner of the painting, noticed Ding Ning's rare abilities and invited him to a room to read the meaning of the painting that Rongmo couldn't decipher. Ding Ning tried to deny that he could read it, but Rongmo insisted. In the special room, Ding Ning realized that the torn painting was an important part of the previous one, containing guides to book and sword techniques. After explaining the painting's contents, Ding Ning said goodbye to continue his journey with his group. A few days later, Qian Shui was shocked when the royal supervisor arrested Ding Ning. At that time, Chun Xian, who was tasked with finding Jing Ming's successor, suspected Ding Ning of inheriting the Ba Mountain sect leader's cultivation technique. After Ding Ning was taken to prison, Chun Xian tortured him to make him reveal his identity, but Ding Ning chose to stay silent despite the pain. Worried about Ding Ning's safety, Qian Shui rushed to save her nephew. On the way, she was confronted by Su Long, who was in disguise. There, Su Long discovered Qian Shui's identity as a Ba Mountain sect member after seeing her use moves taught by Jing Ming. Realizing that Ding Ning was the successor to Jing Ming, Su Long decided to help. Soon after, Su Long went to the royal dungeon to free Ding Ning and then met Qian Shui in the forest. Su Long told them she would help with their revenge plan as repayment because she had been working for the kingdom that betrayed her master, Jing Ming. On the other hand, Liang Lian, who is still obsessed with killing Ding Ning, meets Shan Shui to work together to catch Ding Ning. As payment, Liang Lian will give Shan Shui the royal dungeon map she wants. Hearing this, Shan Shui agrees to the general's offer. The next morning, Shan Shui goes to Ding Ning at the wine shop and tells him that Qian Shui has been captured by Liang Lian. At that moment, Ding Ning panics and goes with Shan Shui to the fish market, where Liang Lian is waiting for him. Realizing it's a trap, Ding Ning tries to stay calm even though Shan Shui points a sword at his neck and brings him to face the general. After getting the map of the royal dungeon, Shan Shui quickly leaves with Zhao Si, who helps her escape from Liang Lian. Meanwhile, at the fish market bridge, Ding Ning knocks out Liang Lian's men who are trying to arrest him and escapes with Su Long's help. It turns out that the night before, Ding Ning, Qian Shui, and Su Long had met with Shan Shui, Shang, and Zhao Si to plan their trick to get the prison map from Liang Lian, which they needed to save Zhu Jiu. Back in the present, when Shan Shui and Zhao Si are about to leave by river, they find Zheng Xiu and her troops waiting for them because Liang Lian secretly informed the queen about their plan. After paralyzing the soldiers, Shan Shui and Zhao Si face Zheng Xiu and Liang Lian. In the fight, Zhao Si is seriously injured as she can't match the queen's abilities. Luckily, Shan Shui manages to help Zhao Si escape to their hiding place. In the palace, Yuan Wu felt a little relieved after hearing that Zhao Si was injured because he planned to go to Mount Lu to pray for his kingdom's welfare. Meanwhile, at Ding Ning's hiding place, Shan Shui was annoyed to find out that the map Liang Lian gave her was fake. Soon after, Zhao Si, who was seriously injured and knew she wouldn't survive, called Ding Ning and handed over clues about the location of Jing Ming's heirloom sword. She asked Ding Ning to continue the task of finding the sword. After saying her last words, Zhao Si died from her injuries caused by Zheng Xiu's powerful attack. Another day, Zichu came to the wine shop. Ding Ning, realizing that Zichu was the crown prince, decided to befriend him to get closer to the king. At that time, Ding Ning worked on becoming friends with Zichu. A few days later, Rongmo met Ding Ning to ask him to read the meaning of a painting that still puzzled Rongmo. During their conversation, Zichu arrived, and Ding Ning asked Rongmo to include Zichu in their plans. Although annoyed, Rongmo agreed so they could leave immediately. At the same time, Qian Shui asked Solong for help to go to the underground prison to meet Zhu Jiu and find out the whereabouts of Jing Ming's heirloom sword. When night fell, Ding Ning was still in the horse carriage with Zichu and Rongmo. Ding Ning questioned their purpose. Surprisingly, Rongmo did not take Ding Ning to the Zhou family residence, but to Mount Lu to get Bodhi roots, which were believed to have special properties. Under Rongmo's threat, Ding Ning and Zichu followed his plan, even though they were tied up all night to prevent escape. The next morning, Rongmo released Ding Ning and Zichu and took them to a place where the king of Xian Kingdom was also there to fight over the Bodhi roots. After King Xian opened the cave door, Rongmo pushed Ding Ning and Zichu into the cave and blocked King Xian's troops before entering the cave himself. Inside the cave, they were confused about how to store the Bodhi roots. Rongmo accidentally cut a poisonous root, causing Zichu to experience temporary blindness. When Ding Ning tried to leave with Zichu, Rongmo threatened to kill Zichu if Ding Ning didn't help him get the Bodhi root. So, Ding Ning and Zichu had to follow Rongmo's orders until they found the room where the Bodhi roots were kept. There, Rongmo was very happy to see the Bodhi root and ate it, not knowing it was fake, which poisoned him. Meanwhile, Ding Ning looked around the room and found the real Bodhi root in the mouth of a dragon statue. Before leaving, Ding Ning decided to finish off Rongmo using the 9 Death Silkworm technique. Unfortunately, King Xian saw this when he entered the room. Surprisingly, after realizing Ding Ning was Jing Ming's successor, King Xian treated Ding Ning well. He even gave Zichu an antidote so he could see again and provided a horse-drawn carriage for Ding Ning and Zichu. On the other hand, Qian Shui and Su Long managed to enter the secret door leading to the underground prison where Zhu Jiu was locked up. Unfortunately, they had to stop when they realized that Yuan Wu had changed the secret path. So, they decided to return and plan another attempt later. Meanwhile, Ding Ning and Zichu were on their way home but were stopped by Han Kingdom troops. At that time, Zichu had to reveal himself to avoid any problems. There, Ding Ning pretended to be surprised when he found out that Zichu was the crown prince of Han Kingdom. Zichu then invited Ding Ning to meet Yuan Wu because they had gone to Mount Lu without the king's permission. After hearing Zichu's explanation, including how Ding Ning managed to enter the Bodhi root storage room, Yuan Wu was impressed with his abilities. Yuan Wu even invited Ding Ning to join the meeting with the 3 kingdoms at Mount Lu the next day. So, Ding Ning stayed overnight at the palace. With Zichu's help, Ding Ning sent the Bodhi root to Wang Su, whose strength had not recovered since his fight with Liang Lian. On the day of the meeting of royal leaders, King Xian welcomed the arrival of the king from O Kingdom. The 2 kings had good relations in the past, but after Yuan Wu became the leader of Han Kingdom, the Xian and Imo regions often clashed. Soon after, Yuan Wu arrived with his troops, including Ding Ning. And King Xian, who didn't like Heng's arrival, served soybeans to embarrass Yuan Wu. Even so, Yuan Wu just smiled because, without King Xian knowing, Heng's troops were attacking the Liangshan region in Xian territory. To make the meeting more exciting, King Imo ordered his minister, Lin Ying, to fight General Fong from Xian. Soon after, they started fighting to show their strength in front of the other kingdom's leaders. On the other hand, Ding Ning, who was standing behind Yuan Wu, thought about attacking the king but decided not to because he worried about his own safety and his aunt's. Meanwhile, in the fight between Fong and Lin Ying, Fong's great strength seemed to overpower Lin Ying. Even though he was injured, Lin Ying didn't give up and kept fighting. Fong then took out a plaque that could absorb power from the earth. With all his might, Lin Ying fought against the plaque's power and managed to defeat Fong. But then, Fong's defeat made King Xian angry, so he challenged Yuan Wu to send his soldiers to fight against Xian's side. Shortly after, Yuan Wu ordered Ding Ning to fight the Xian Kingdom representative. And Ding Ning, who claimed to be still at level 3, had to hide his true strength by pretending to lose the fight because his opponent had a higher cultivation level. At that moment, King Xian wondered why Ding Ning hid his real strength. Soon after, King Xian was shocked by news from his soldiers that the Liangshan region had been captured by Han troops in a sneak attack. Hearing this, King Xian was furious and challenged Yuan Wu, accusing him of cheating. Because King Xian was still at level 7, he decided to take a spiritual pill to match Yuan Wu's level 8, even though the pill could harm his body. Without wasting any time, the 2 kings began to fight. With his high cultivation ability, Yuan Wu easily caused serious injury to King Xian. After the fight, King Xian was taken to the palace for treatment. Unfortunately, his injuries were very serious, and he realized he would not survive. He made a last request to his empress, Zhao Xiang, to keep his death a secret to avoid any bloodshed after his passing. At the Hong Palace, Chen Xian warned Zulong not to get involved with Jing Ming, but Zulong insisted on taking revenge against the Han Kingdom for killing her master. One night, Shan Shui's hiding place was surrounded by Liang Lian's troops. Fanjue decided to sacrifice himself by fighting Liang Lian so that Shan Shui could escape. Even though Shan Shui helped Fanjue, Liang Lian, who was stronger, managed to defeat and kill Fanjue. In the midst of her sadness, Shan Shui was forced to run away to honor the sacrifice of her trusted friend. With Liang Lian's success in conquering the Liangshan region and bringing Fanjue's body to Yuanwu, Liang Lian received the honorary title of nobleman in the Han Kingdom. Meanwhile, after being away with the royal party for some time, Ding Ning returned to the wine shop. There, Qian Shui greeted him with anger, thinking Ding Ning had sided with the kingdom. She was so annoyed that she pointed her sword at his neck. Calmly, Ding Ning explained the misunderstanding until Qian Shui began to understand why he had approached the royal family. Not long after explaining, Ding Ning suddenly fainted because his illness from excess strength returned. This made Qian Shui panic, and she quickly tried to find a healer around the fish market. There, she accidentally met a royal envoy from Xian, who gave her a jade stone from King Xian. The messenger told Qian Shui that before King Xian died, he had given the jade to Ding Ning. Hearing this, Qian Shui immediately brought the messenger to meet Ding Ning. When Ding Ning regained consciousness, the envoy told him that King Xian had died from his fight with Yuan Wu and gave him the jade stone from the king. Ding Ning was shocked and saddened by the news because King Xian had been so kind to him, and he felt he had not been able to repay that kindness. Another time, Wang Su and Ding Ning's senior, Jiang Li, came to the wine shop to visit Ding Ning, who was still sick. Qian Shui felt annoyed with Ding Ning's change in attitude, thinking he prioritized others over their goal of revenge against the kingdom. He explained that Qian Shui and their revenge plans were always his priority. After clearing up the misunderstanding with Qian Shui, Ding Ning focused on training his cultivation skills, knowing that the Mingshan Sword Festival would be held in a few days. On the day of departure, Ding Ning was in the horse-drawn carriage with Wang Su, determined to show his best abilities against the other participants because Wang Su had sacrificed for him. Unexpectedly, before they left, Ding Ning got injured after failing to increase his cultivation level. Because of this, Wang Su gave the Bodhi root to Ding Ning so he could recover quickly, even though Wang Su needed it to treat his own injury. Back to the present, Ding Ning and the White Goat Cave sect group arrived at the event location. At that time, he pretended to be weak and sick so that his opponents wouldn't know his true abilities. Meanwhile, the leader of the Mingshan Sword Festival, Master Bailey Su Shui, and several royal members watched the participants from a distance. When Su Shui learned that Ding Ning had excess power, he was shocked by the rare situation Ding Ning was experiencing. At the wine shop, Qian Shui decided to take part in supervising Ding Ning at the Mingshan Sword Festival, especially since the event prizes could help Ding Ning find medicine to cure his excess strength. At the event location, Yuan Wu, who had finished presiding over the opening, left and handed over the event to Su Shui and his subordinates. Soon after, the test for the participants began, letting them choose the swords they would use for the next test. When entering the sword grave area, Ding Ning, who knew a lot about different types of swords, immediately helped his friends find the right swords for them. And the exam supervisor, Jing Luli, was surprised by Ding Ning's knowledge, but he said he learned it from his master at college. A few moments after Chai Shu got her sword, she was shocked by an attack from a masked participant, Sun Xing. There, Sun Xing said he joined the event to take revenge on everyone from his old school, including Chai Shu. At that moment, Sun Xing attacked Chai Shu repeatedly, overwhelming her. Luckily, So Lung arrived, and Sun Xing hurried away, leaving Chai Shu injured. Not long after, Xie Rua was also found injured and carried by 2 guards due to a mysterious attack. Meanwhile, Ding Ning, instead of looking for a sword like the others, used the opportunity to practice his cultivation skills until he reached level 4. Soon after finishing his training, Ding Ning was challenged by another participant named Yihao Ran. Using an old sword given by his master, Ding Ning accepted the challenge. Even though Hao Ran was at level 6, Ding Ning managed to defeat him but got injured. At that moment, Sun Xing tried to take advantage and attack Ding Ning from behind. Fortunately, Jiang Li quickly approached the injured Ding Ning, causing Sun Xing to give up his plan. After the first test was finished, the event supervisors announced the 10 participants who passed to the next round. There, Ding Ning noticed that Chai Shu and Xia Ruo were missing from the event location. So Long then told him that his two friends were being treated after being attacked. Meanwhile, Qian Shui was at Su Shui's residence. So, Su Shui was a good friend of Jing Ming, so he knew Qian Shui. When he found out that Qian Shui was Ding Ning's aunt, Su Shui reminded her to stay hidden and let Ding Ning finish the event on his own. On the other hand, Wang Su, who realized he wouldn't survive his internal injuries, decided to give the leadership of the White Goat Cave sect to Jiang Li, the most senior student. Even though Jiang Li refused, he finally accepted the school's identity knife after seeing Wang Su's condition getting worse. The next day, the final round of the Mingshan Sword Festival was held, where participants dueled each other using their chosen swords. Jiang Li was forced to be eliminated after facing Sun Xing, who made it to the final round against Ding Ning. When the match between Ding Ning and Sun Xing began, it didn't take long for Rong to complete her task. At that time, Jiang Li couldn't move because he was stiff from a blow from Rong. Then, Long realized too late that there was an intruder in the competition arena and couldn't save Wang Su. At the same time, Ding Ning also learned about the attack on Wang Su but couldn't leave because he still had to finish his fight with Sun Xing. Determined not to waste time, Ding Ning used all his abilities to fight Sun Xing and finally defeated his former senior. When Sun Xing asked Ding Ning to kill him, Ding Ning refused and went to Wang Su, who was already helpless. There, Sun Xing tried to attack Ding Ning secretly, but Lu Li saw it and immediately stopped Sun Xing. Not long after the match, Ding Ning became unconscious due to his internal injuries. After waking up, Ding Ning, accompanied by Qian Shui, was at Su Shui's residence to receive the first-place prize from Su Shui, which was learning the heaven-connecting knowledge to cure Ding Ning's excess strength disease. Unexpectedly, Su Shui admitted that she did not fully understand the heaven-connecting knowledge because she stopped studying it due to its dangerous risks, and failing to learn it could cause madness. Hearing Su Shui's explanation, Qian Shui spoke alone with Ding Ning and asked her nephew not to study heaven-connecting knowledge because of the dangers. She even said she would forget all her revenge plans rather than endanger Ding Ning. Even so, Ding Ning insisted on continuing everything he had started, including learning heaven-connecting, so he could help Qian Shui complete her revenge against the Han Kingdom. Because of this, Ding Ning then went with Su Shui and Qian Shui to a cave where he would start studying the heaven-connecting skill. Step by step, Ding Ning began the process until he almost lost consciousness. Luckily, Su Shui immediately came to help, and that's when Ding Ning finally told Su Shui that he was not Jing Ming's successor but the reincarnation of Jing Ming. 10 years ago, Jing Ming survived death by using the 9 Death Silk Worm technique to create a cocoon and reassemble his body. Hearing that, Su Shui was shocked by Ding Ning's confession. Then, he promised to keep his true identity a secret from everyone, including Qian Shui. One night, when Su Long was meeting with Shang and Qian Shui at the wine shop, Zhang Xiu's spy found out and reported it to Chen Xian. Wanting to protect Su Long, Chen Xian decided to kill the Empress's spy. Back at the wine shop, Ding Ning warned Su Long not to act rashly in rescuing Zhu Jia. But there, Su Long ignored that warning and insisted on doing anything to avenge Jing Ming's death. Ding Ning then said something that reminded Su Long of what Jing Ming had said in the past, making her start to realize that the young man in front of her was the reincarnation of Jing Ming. At the palace, Zichu felt embarrassed after learning that his mother's trusted maid was involved in the murder of Wang Su. Soon after, Zichu went to Rong and asked her to battle Jiang Li during the closing ceremony of the Mingshan Sword Festival the next day. Rong agreed and then went to Zhang Xiu to ask for help. Zhang Xiu, not wanting her involvement in Wang Su's murder to be known, allowed Rong to fight the new leader of the White Goat Cave sect. On the day of the closing ceremony, attended by Yuan Wu and Zheng Xiu, Jiang Li was ready to face Rong to avenge Wang Su's death. With the Shay's torn painting move, Jiang Li managed to kill Rong in the match. Meanwhile, Su Shui, who already knew that Jing Ming was still alive in Ding Ning's body, became even bolder and insulted Zhang Xiu right in front of Yuan Wu. A few days later, news about Zhu Jia's execution reached Qian Shui and the others, so they planned to save Zhu Jia the night before the execution. With the help of Chen Xian and Su Long, Qian Shui and the group managed to find him. Unfortunately, when they were about to take Zhu Jia out of prison, Zhang Xiu blocked them, and Su Long had to sacrifice herself after being secretly attacked by Liang Lian. Sadly, Su Long's death devastated Chen Xian, who had always tried to protect her. Meanwhile, when Qian Shui and Zhu Jia arrived at Su Shui's residence, They both received treatment from Ding Ning and Su Shui. As Qian Shui began to recover, she told Ding Ning about Su Lung's sacrifice, making him feel sad too. During their conversation, Qian Shui realized that the 9 Death Silkworm's skill couldn't be passed on to others, so she suspected that Ding Ning was actually Jing Ming, still alive. The next day, Qian Shui's curiosity was confirmed when she saw Zhu Jiu paying tribute to Ding Ning as Jing Ming. Feeling lied to, Qian Shui was disappointed that Ding Ning had hidden his true identity from her. At the palace, Yuan Wu was angry because the royal prisoners had escaped. At that time, Yuan Zihan, Zichu's older brother who had been living in Xian Kingdom for peace between the two kingdoms, suggested that his father attack Fengwu Kingdom, where Zhu Jiu and his group were hiding. Hearing that Zichu disagreed, arguing that war would only make people suffer, but Yuan Wu preferred to listen to Zihan, who wanted to hunt down the fugitives and expand Heng's territory. That evening, Su Shui approached Qian Shui, who was sad because she had only just found out Ding Ning's true identity after living with him for so long. Qian Shui felt that she wasn't her teacher's close friend because Ding Ning had hidden the secret about his identity from her. Su Shui then explained that Ding Ning didn't want to involve anyone, including Qian Shui, in his revenge plan against the Han Kingdom. Unfortunately, Qian Shui accidentally saw Ding Ning coming out of the cocoon, so Ding Ning had to lie and claim to be Jing Ming's successor. The next day, Qian Shui met Ding Ning to express her disappointment because he had hidden his real identity as Jing Ming. At that moment, Ding Ning couldn't do anything because it was all his fault. Meanwhile, Chen Xian was still devastated by Su Lung's death until Shan Shui approached him and invited him to take revenge on the Han Kingdom for Su Lung's death. Sometime later, Zichu and Zihan went to the border to attack Fengwu Kingdom. The two brothers fight because Zichu tried to stop Zihan, who persisted with his plan. Soon after, Ding Ning and his group also arrived in the Fengwu Kingdom to look for clues to the whereabouts of Jing Ming's heirloom sword, which had been missing for many years. On the way, they helped Wu Lianzi, the priestess of Wuchou village, escape from the Fengwu Kingdom troops. There, Lianzi finally joined Ding Ning's group, and they rested at a nearby inn. The next morning, Ding Ning and the others were shocked to find Lianzi missing. At that moment, Ding Ning suspected that Lianzi knew the location of Jing Ming's heirloom sword, so he and his friends decided to chase after her. Meanwhile, Qian Shui and Shan Shui traveled to the Fengwu and Heng borders to hunt down Liang Lian to avenge Su Lung's death. At the same time, Zihan tricked Zichu into going to the Fengwu side to negotiate, knowing that the Fengwu troops were ready and could endanger Zichu. Without suspecting his brother's plans, Zichu and his troops headed to the Fengwu army camp. On the way, they were suddenly attacked by enemy troops hiding behind a hill. The sudden attack killed all of Zichu's troops, and Zichu was seriously injured. After the attack, Qian Shui and Shan Shui passed by and saw the bodies of Heng soldiers and found the dying Zichu. On the other hand, Qian Shui, recognizing Zichu, decided to help him by taking him to hide up the hill just before Liang Lian's troops arrived. There, Zichu witnessed the cruelty of Liang Lian, who killed a dying soldier with his sword to avoid taking him for treatment. Meanwhile, Liang Lian, knowing that Zichu survived the attack, intended to find and kill the crown prince to gain more freedom in the kingdom. Turning to Ding Ning and his group, they managed to catch up with Lianzi, who was now meeting her lover, Yalut Songlang, the crown prince of Fengwu Kingdom. Before leaving, Ding Ning warned Songlang about the presence of traitors in Fengwu Kingdom, but she did not believe him. So, Ding Ning and the others decided to follow Songlang and Lianzi secretly to ensure their safety. At the Heng Palace, Yuan Wu was furious after hearing reports of Zichu's death. There, Yuan Wu decided to lead his troops to the Fengwu border to fight. That evening, Songlang and Lianzi arrived at Fengwu Kingdom to visit the king, who was seriously ill. They found out that the state advisor, Zhan Mohe, who was hungry for power, had betrayed them and framed Songlang as the king's killer. Soon after, Songlang and Lianzi fled from Mohe's pursuit and were saved by Ding Ning and Chen Xian's group, who had now joined Ding Ning. At the kingdom's border, Yuan Wu, who had arrived at the camp, was annoyed to see Zihan drinking and not caring about Zichu's fate. Yuan Wu gave his first son a beating. The next day, Qian Shui, Shan Shui, and Zichu were confronted by Liang Lian's troops, who intended to kill Zichu. At that time, Qian Shui and Shan Shui tried to protect Zichu and avenge Su Lung's death by fighting against Liang Lian. Although they were initially overwhelmed by the general, the two female warriors managed to defeat and kill Liang with good teamwork. Not long after, Ding Ning and his group came and helped Qian Shui, and the others who were exhausted after the fight. Ding Ning immediately approached Qian Shui and felt regretful for leaving her to complete her revenge against Liang Lian alone. Meanwhile, Zichu was annoyed to see Lang and Lian Zi in Ding Ning's group because he thought the previous attack was ordered by Lang. Zhangli calmed Zichu by explaining that Lang and Lian Zi had also become fugitives from Fengwu Kingdom after Mo He betrayed the kingdom. On the other hand, Lian Zi, seeing many people injured, suggested they go to Wuchou village to get treatment. Soon after, the news that Zichu was safe finally reached Yuanwu, so King Heng decided to look for his crown prince and handed over the affairs of the Fengwu conquest to Zihan. Back with Ding Ning's group, after arriving at Wuchou village, Ding Ning immediately treated Qian Shui's internal injuries and cleared up the misunderstanding between them. Then, they made up again. The next day, Lian Zi was secretly kidnapped by Mo He's men. Together with Ding Ning's group, Song Lang tried to find Lian Zi, who was now at an ancient gate. At that time, Mo He had kidnapped Lian Zi because her blood could open the gate where an heirloom sword was kept. Before Mo He could enter the gate, Ding Ning and the others tried to stop him, but Xie Ruo had to sacrifice herself in the battle against Mo He. On the other hand, Lian Zi decided to injure herself and use her blood to control the ancient tree, which then killed Mo He. Not long after, an ancient tree keeper named Wu Chou, who was Lian Zi's grandfather, appeared and showed them the heirloom sword that Ding Ning had been looking for. Ding Ning then intended to take the sword, not realizing that Yuan Wu, who was in a different dimension, was also holding the hilt of the sword. After a while, they both realized each other's presence, and Ding Ning questioned Yuan Wu about his betrayal. There, Yuan Wu showed no guilt, which made Ding Ning even more annoyed. When their dimensions united, they faced each other, and Yuan Wu took the opportunity to attack Ding Ning. With that sudden attack, Ding Ning, still holding the hilt of the sword, managed to pull out the heirloom sword and return to his previous dimension to join his friends. Yuan Wu was upset by Ding Ning's disappearance into another dimension with the heirloom sword he had been after. Back at Heng's palace, Chen Xian faced Jing Xiu and gave her the book of heaven connecting science that she wanted to study after hearing about Ding Ning's success in mastering this knowledge. And Chen Xian, who had rearranged the book's order as planned with Ding Ning, smiled as he left the queen's room. Meanwhile, Zichu decided to return to Yuan Wu and protect Ding Ning by saying he had not met Ding Ning at all during his escape after the attack by the Fengwu troops. Sometime later, Heng's troops, led by Zihan, launched a large-scale attack in the Fengwu area. There, Song Lang and Lian Zi tried to fight and save innocent citizens. Ding Ning's group also helped evacuate the residents to a safer place. In the battle, Song Lang and Lian Zi died, trying to stop Zihan's troops from entering the Fengwu border gate. Turning to Ding Ning's group, with so many Fengwu citizens needing rescue, Ding Ning and Qian Shui decided to buy time by facing Heng's troops, while Zhang Li and the others would lead the Fengwu people to a safe hiding place. After the battle at the Fengwu border, Zihan met Zichu and showed him the head of Song Lang, whom Zihan had defeated. At that moment, Zichu was shocked and didn't expect his older brother to be so cruel. Meanwhile, Ding Ning and Qian Shui still had to face the Heng troops chasing them. Luckily, the power of the heirloom sword that Ding Ning got was able to defeat the soldiers with one attack, allowing Ding Ning to take Qian Shui and escape. At the same time, the leaders of the three kingdoms became furious with Yuan Wu's greed to control all regions. They gathered at the border and began discussing plans to cooperate and attack Heng's troops to stop Yuan Wu's territorial expansion. At the Fengwu border, Yuan Wu held a meeting to hear reports of Zihan's attack. During the meeting, Zichu, who had been secretly poisoned by a mind-controlling insect by Zihan, suddenly spoke disrespectfully in front of everyone, and Yuan Wu, who was annoyed, ordered his soldiers to lock up Zichu. In the palace, Zhang Xiu was busy practicing the heaven-connecting art without realizing it was damaging her veins. As a result, her health began to decline, and she couldn't lead her kingdom well. Meanwhile, Ding Ning and Qian Shui, after escaping from Heng's forces, hid in a cave to perfect their sword skills. During this time, Ding Ning expressed his feelings for Qian Shui and kissed her. A few days later, the war between the kingdoms intensified, especially after the three kingdoms united to fight the Heng Kingdom. Despite suffering heavy losses, the Heng forces, led by Yuan Wu, managed to fight the troops from the three kingdoms. Back to Zhang Xiu, the queen continued to practice the heaven-connecting art until she was seriously injured. Her anger grew even more when Yuan Wu told her that Ding Ning was actually Jing Ming. In the cave, Ding Ning and Qian Shui perfected their sword skills, with Ding Ning raising his cultivation to level 4 and Qian Shui to level 7. Not long after, Zhang Xiu's soldiers surrounded the cave, forcing Qian Shui to leave and face the queen's troops. Just before she received a fatal blow, Ding Ning paralyzed Heng's troops and then took Qian Shui to find a new hiding place. Sometime later, Ding Ning and Qian Shui's new hiding place was discovered by Heng's troops. At that time, Ding Ning had to fight them all, not realizing it was a trap to kidnap Qian Shui. Annoyed, he immediately chased after the Han troops who had taken Qian Shui. When he found where Qian Shui was hidden, Ding Ning killed all the soldiers trying to block him. Finally, he managed to rescue Qian Shui, who was now seriously injured. After taking Qian Shui to a safe place, Ding Ning tried his best to heal her internal injuries, hoping she would recover as before. Day after day, Ding Ning practiced his cultivation skills. Eventually, he raised his cultivation level to a high level and decided to complete his revenge plan against the Han Kingdom. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiu, who now knew Ding Ning's true identity, started to panic. She met Su Shui to try and kill him. There, Zhang Xiu also poisoned Yuan Wu with a needle, hoping that Ding Ning would forgive her. On the day Ding Ning arrived at the palace, Zhang Xiu welcomed him, but Ding Ning, who was angry and disappointed with all the bad things Zhang Xiu had done, rejected her invitation to make up. Because of this, Zhang Xiu had to face Ding Ning, who had reached level 9, or immortal level. In the fight, Zhang Xiu died after Ding Ning struck her with his inherited sword. At the same time, her death freed Yuan Wu from the poison she had given him. At the end, Yuan Wu was angry after seeing his wife killed by Ding Ning, so he tried to attack Ding Ning. With his high level of cultivation, Ding Ning easily overpowered Yuan Wu until he couldn't move. While pointing his sword at Yuan Wu's neck, Ding Ning said he would not kill Yuan Wu because he still valued their past friendship and had let go of his grudge against the king. Because of this, Yuan Wu finally let Ding Ning leave the Hong Palace. The series ends. The moral lesson from this series is if you ever find yourself in a fight between kingdoms, just remember that sword skills and secret identities are cool, but bringing snacks and a good nap can save the day. Oh, and never underestimate the power of angry grandmas and mind-controlling bugs.